What up, familia? It's your favorite Puerto Rican Brooklyn Philly here, and it's first thing in the morning. The air is beautifully crisp. It's like that. You know, do you remember? September, right? Um, so it's not hot and humid, but it's not cold and brisk. It's just like extra sweet. I'm hearing like just right. I was sitting here trying to catch the sunrise. Sunrise? I just saw rice fields, rice paddies. Interesting. Maybe that's significant for someone. It just hurt my heart though too. I'm not gonna lie. I just thought of like maybe somebody working in rice fields, sending love, right? Um, Yeah. Oh, that was interesting. That was a whole different emotion, a whole different pull on my heart just now. It's interesting because today is actually Labor Day. So for that thought or, to cross my mind, subconsciously that way, what we would call a Freudian slip, I think has been very intentional by spirit just now. One of the things that I wanted to say, or that one of the ways I'm feeling today is like F labor. Like the word labor in and of itself is just, I'm not feeling it right now. I don't, so the fact that we're observing this holiday in the US at this time, which grants me this day to stay at home. I really, I was thinking about all of the things I could do today, right? And then I just had, I just heard an epiphany, like this moment of, no, no, it means no labor today, none, you know, no labor. I don't know, there's a scripture that it almost came to mind regarding labor, and it just slipped me that fast. So maybe if someone knows it, who's familiar with the Christian canon and wants to look it up, there was something about, now I'm hearing the labor of love. But if we are thinking about Labor Day, right, and I don't want to lose, I just kind of want to go back briefly and touch on paddy rice fields. And this whole perspective of what labor really has meant, not just in this country, but globally around the world, and how, I don't know why it wants to go this way, but I'm going to follow spirit, how others' labors have profited others. Did I say that correctly, right? So yeah, I'm hearing this is like Dr. King's Day, stay home, I don't give a F what they tell you, in regards to some states that still don't acknowledge, or that didn't acknowledge Dr. King's as a national holiday, right? I just, I got that. I remember that from Martin, the one of Martin Lawrence, the episode Martin. So yeah, today, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm rambling now. Today I'm feeling like F labor, right? We're not doing any labor today, right? Well, I'm not. I can't tell you what to do, and we all have different, I'm hearing precarious situations, and not everyone is afforded that right? Maybe that's what Spirit is saying, that for me to be grateful for those of us who can, sit here on their sofa in their pajamas and do something like a video on this day. Not to, it's interesting, today's morning message on one of my stories on Instagrams was that some of our most precious gifts are right in front of us and we take them for granted. So I think this is Spirit, my ancestor team. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Kind of reminding me of that and reiterating. I think this is going to be the theme throughout the day. They play with me like that. Not play. I don't mean play like interesting. Magician, the Fool. I just heard, beepity boppity boop, right? Like anything is possible, right? It's interesting because she's in this hat, so I'm really feeling like, you know, a magic trick, a magic show, an actual magician, right? Like I'm feeling like the nostalgia of that. And then I'm hearing the golden goose, right? The goose that lays the golden eggs. Interesting. So a lot of reference to childlike wonder. That is a child with a birthday hat or something on there, right? I don't know that I just heard dunce hat. Don't want that. But I don't know. And then the hand under it, right? It's like kind of divinity, right? So this hat has become a transportation vehicle to, I'm hearing a new Never Never Land, right? The never ending story. Like this next chapter of your life, right? And then I'm hearing you're going to feel foolish. Now I saw Aladdin from the movie Aladdin, the genie, when Aladdin tells him, "Oh, I never wished us out of the cave. You did that on your own." He's like, "Well, I feel sheepish, bad." He turns himself into a sheep. It's like you're gonna, but now I'm blushing. So there's something about what's going to be happening. I'm hearing this next chapter of your life. It'll initially feel like surreal. I'm hearing Alice in Wonderland, go down the rabbit hole, right? Interesting. So much imagery, so many thoughts are like flooding. But now I'm hearing penny hen. Is that a hen there? Is that, and the sky is falling. The sky is falling. Interesting. I haven't thought about that story in years. Like I'm 50 years old. I just thought of something from like third grade or something. I'm literally feeling me turning the pages and excitement reading that story for the first time. Yeah, it's gonna be like that type of feeling. Yeah, there's something about that, guys. Look how beautiful this card is. This is like the mystical moments, I believe, tarot. But I don't know why I don't want to let it go. Like, I don't want to shuffle for the next one. It's like there's so much there. Yeah, now I'm seeing Jack and the Beanstalk, right, with the greenery, like going up the beans. It's all of these children's stories, recollections, childlike wonder. I'm hearing childlike innocence, childlike curiosity, right? And childlike trust and faith, right? Like when you were like the child, you believed in these, imaginary characters and imaginary places, and you believed you could travel into them. And some of you were so, I'm hearing empathic and intuitive, that you literally would jump into like these dimensions, this multi-universe, right? Where you would actually go there. Look at this vast background in the back. Like literally, she's flying through air. She's being transported. And again, the beautiful thing that I'm saying here is, I just heard, well, I feel foolish, sheepish again, right? That, to most it would be foolish, right? Just don't let me miss it, spirit. Because what I was thinking about, again, it is divinity, it is spirit, and I'm being led to say, if you don't believe in that, right? Maybe if you, are atheist, I don't know, and you just believe in self, right? Well, then maybe it's your higher self finally willing to transport you back to this pure essence and innocence of childlike wonder and curiosity and trust and faith and belief, right? That dreams do come true, wishes can come true, the impossible can be possible, right? I'm hearing Alice in Wonderland quote where she said, "My father said he believed in 10 impossibilities before breakfast." You know what I'm saying? Before breakfast. Like that type of, and she was talking about her father, not herself, right? This was a grown man right? But it's something about having this type of attitude, this type of, that is going to propel you and excel you and shift you. Okay, interesting. Right away, shift you. All I heard was just self love, 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 right? It's just the way she's holding that cup. It's interesting because now I just heard from child, right? So here we have the innocence of, I want to say maybe 0 to 10 or 12 rather, maybe 14, right? And 12 these years. Interesting. I guess I'm older, so I'm thinking back. But then here, like more, teenage, young women, like it's like a shift, like a gradual. I'm hearing like a continuum. But here, and then what's so beautiful is like, as a result of this, then you'll be able to experience this, right? It's like, it's transformative. It's like all of these butterflies, golden butterflies, right? Look at them, are coming out of her cup and are being released from her, right? They're not being poured into her. They're being released from her, right? From her cup, the cup she's holding. And I don't find it, I don't think it a coincidence that she's, her feet, are like immersed in water, right? So it's this very beautiful balance, like this, between emotion and I wanted to say logic, but it doesn't feel befitting. Um, you know, uh, I don't know. It's like heart and mind, though, right? Um, yeah, it's almost giving me like the temperance card, right? There's this sense of balance, this beauty, and I mean, look at her. Look at how she's holding it so dearly, and her eyes are closed. I just sense this great spirit of gratitude. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling here. Like this, like, just this gratefulness, this thankfulness that's exuding from her. Um, yeah, so for many of you, maybe because of now this chapter where you're accepting and embracing this childlike wonder again, reconnecting to this inner child innocence that you may have thought you have lost, you're in just such great gratitude to spirit, to self, to divinity, to oneness, right? That now this is the Ace of Cups, right? A new beginning in love, but for me it's self-love, right? There is no other in this picture with her. It's just her. I'm hearing Me, Myself, and I by Beyonce. Maybe some of you need to go listen to that. But what the beautiful thing is, right, is not selfish, because as a result of such a transformative experience, you're able to now release this into the world, right? To be shared with others. I'm hearing. Interesting take on it. I want to take a sip of my coffee. It's interesting. It's fierce feminine. Not to say anything against the masculine, right? Or to deny it, because I'm not about that life. I think complete wholeness and what truly defines that, and a healthy wholeness would be very much indicative and representative of both my masculine and feminine energies, right? That's good. There's something about comfiness, like, right, I'm in these comfy old lady pajamas. I'm sitting in front of my window with like this soft breeze coming in, right? There's this sense of quietness and stillness. There's this beauty exuding from these cards thus far, right? There's something very beautiful about this spirit. Like just the, let's say this spirit, this energy, right? It's just lovely. Very dainty, interesting. So we have the Two of Pentacles, right? That's what that is. No, Two of Swords. The Two of Swords, right? I find it very interesting. Ah, look at that. I just heard compare and contrast, right? Very much middle school language or references, right? Because I'm hearing a teacher, giving a lecture just now. That's what I envision on how to write a paper, utilizing compare and contrast. Because in this picture, she's being transported in this hat. And in this picture, she's wearing this hat. And then even look at the differences in the hats, right? One is a magic hat, a magician hat, right? And the other one is very, I'm hearing hearth, earth, home, stability, security, built, right? And then, yeah, like the birds signify, right? This is what they do. They build these homes, right? They go and gather the twigs and whatever is necessary to build that home. And it's interesting because I very much indicated that here in this card we have very much a person by themselves, right? I really get this representation of like this cup of love, this newness of love, being very self-oriented, right? This self-love, one person. And now here we have, I just heard these two lovebirds, right? And this is their home, and they're with one another there. And then it's very interesting. I really very much am seeing this moon in the background, whereas in this magician card, yeah, it's kind of like this sun. So now I'm seeing like dualities, right? The sun, the moon. Now what's interesting is in this card here is only her feet. Here, I mean, I'm getting this picture of water down here. I know I see green, but I kind of see this as some water as well. So like this immersion. But it's interesting, right? Her eyes are closed. I don't know, I just heard DMX lyrics. Where he's saying the prayer to God, where he says, and you showed me that the only reason why I saw darkness was because my eyes were closed, right? Yeah, and then the original Two of Swords, like in the Rider Waite Smith, Pamela Coleman Smith, thank you, sister. Illustration, the person, the individual, usually a feminine energy, is blindfolded, right? Yes, I'm being told to say go read DMX's prayer. He's really reflecting on pain and really crying out to the divine. That's interesting. But Two of Swords typically represents some type of indecision, right? And sometimes some type of refusal of deciding, right? They're very much holding the swords, hands crossed, right? Now I'm hearing body language, Ursula from The Little Mermaid, right? Never underestimate the power of body language when she says that in that scene to Ariel, when she's telling her, you won't need your voice, right? Interesting. This is taking a turn. But after this Two of Swords, I got this card here, another ace. Interesting. This time, Ace of Wands, this flower blossoming. Again, a pop-up book, right? Very childlike. Again, I remember my first, well, I can't say I'm specifically recalling my very first pop-up book, but yeah, I'm tapping into that energy where I recall, you know, the amazement of being amazed of my tongues speaking in tongues, tongue tied. Interesting, right? Here, this Two of Swords, and then I'm thinking of tongue tied, and here mentioning something about the voice with Ursula and the Little Mermaid, and it being taken from you, from her. Interesting. I said from you, and then actually experiencing that, right? Almost like that blockage, like I couldn't get my words together. Like the thoughts were coming faster than I can articulate it. But back to this pop-up book, right? But this sense of creativity, right? An ace, a beginning in, in this flower, like it's already fully, like it's popped up into like, look at that, all the way up. And she's definitely in amazement of it, right? I don't know. Now I don't see so much amazement. It's almost like I sense fear almost. And I don't know if it's fear, but maybe apprehension. That's the word that's coming to mind. It's like, okay, I'm opening up this book. I'm going to let my light shine. I am going to show off my, I don't know why I heard daffodil, but my flower, right? Interesting. So now going back to this card is something about the home, hearth energy, right? Something maybe about in childhood that made you not want to look at love, because I said lovebirds, relationships, and what that meant and what that signified, right? And somehow blocking, right? Because I talked about the swords and choice and body language and throat being blocked and taken away by the Little Mermaid reference, to now this Ace of Wands, right? Releasing this creativity again, right? And daring to, and it not being, it being a little apprehensive, right? It being a little, I'm hearing even abrasive, right? Because what I'm hearing, and this won't resonate with everybody, but it's been so long. You've learned to, dim your light, stay in the background. I'm hearing now it's time for you to take the stage again. Now it's time for you to shine. You're ready. You're ready. You're ready. It's very interesting because I was a child. What do they call it? I didn't even know. I lost the name of it, but excuse me, confirmation, a performing kid, right? I forget what they call those kids again. I don't know how I forgot, but it's okay, Spirit. I'm rolling with it. But where I was very much involved in the theater and being on stage all the time, not just in school, but even professionally. My mom took me to modeling classes. She took me to acting classes. She tried her best to, and she did. She paid for them by working under the table jobs. She saw this gift within me to be able to capture people and capture audiences at a very young age. And I wasn't fearful. I would get up on the stage and I would recite a story, memorize them, like books, and do storytelling contests, spelling bees, enter in plays and competitions. Yeah, you name it. I was very much involved and very much ready to go. My throat is starting to tighten up now. It's very restricted now. Ooh, it almost just took my breath away because I heard at about it late. And trigger warning for anybody, just if you need to like fast forward this, but because I'm going to talk about some very sensitive issues here now. not talk about them, just touch on them. But it was about the age of 11 where my whole world, was turned upside down due to sexual abuse, as well as physical abuse, mental, emotional. The crack epidemic in the 80s really annihilated, yeah, destroyed. There was another word that was coming to mind. I couldn't get it out, but decimated my family structure, my whole world. And in, what seemed like 0 to 100 or 2.5 seconds, I don't know, but everything was different. I went from this very bubbly, playful, on stage, in the limelight, ready to go, very self-confident, very self-assured, to bullied, rejected, abandoned, abused, decimated, like just a complete switcheroo. And my throat is tightening up again. I'm hearing like a Balboa snake. I don't even know how we used it. Like, that's not, I don't even know where I got that came from. But almost tying around my neck and like wanting to suffocate me. Interesting. Now I feel like I want to cry. Very interesting. But yeah, maybe that's what that was referring to, right? Like, and again, the good news is that I'm not by myself. The bad news is that I'm not by myself in this, that too many of us have experienced similar stories, right? Where we, come into this world with this childlike wonder and nostalgia and ready to go and loving every bit of it. And then we find ourselves in, due to life and circumstances and that are so much bigger than us, because we're children, right? And not to say anything bad about our parents, right? Most of our parents have and done the best that they know how to do and what they were capable of doing with the resources, information, knowledge. Again, my throat that they had access or were privy to, because they too experienced their own sense of trauma, their own sense of issues, and had their own experiences. So but yeah, this seems to be kind of like talking about a continuum, right? And then I'm almost hearing like this is being restored and allowed to have this, and then this is being restored or like moving from this Two of Swords energy to now this going back to this creativity, right? Because it's almost like this is it's like I'm hearing it as a story. I hope I'm not confusing people. Dang it, help me, Spirit. It's like this is a timeline, a storyline, right? Like, so if I was saying this is chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and now this is chapter 4, right? Like, it's a continuum, like, so it's like it's telling a story, of this is what I was like as a child, and as a result, I'm gonna leave it alone. That's what I'm hearing. Hopefully it'll become clearer and clearer. Yeah, but it won't let me leave it alone. But right, this is what I was filled with, and as a result, I was filled with all of this, ready to give all of this to the world. This is who I was. This is who I wanted to become, or who I was, right? And essentially thought, right? And now I'm hearing it a different way. Thank you, Spirit. So because of this childlike innocence and purity and wonder and curiosity, and that you viewed the world in, and you felt you was being transported and protected by your spirit guides, divinity, you wanted to and felt that my throat again, that, and I want to cry again, but that this is who you wanted to be in the world. You felt so much love, so much empathy, that you just wanted to share it with the world. Um, but unfortunately, you were met with circumstances, trials, tribulations, issues, experiences that clouded and distorted. I heard for some your sense of what home and relationships and love and stability meant, and kind of like made you more reclusive, right? She's covering herself with the hat, with the leaves over her eyes and behind this. And now it's like, it's your time to shine again, to get back up there, to show the world, what you bring to the table again, right? And at first, it can feel a little awkward and apprehensive, right? Um, and I just even again heard abrasive, right? I don't know. When I'm thinking abrasive now, I'm thinking like if I would burn my skin, stuff for the law. Like, I mean, we be protected from such things. But if or scrape a piece of the skin, and then it's so sensitive, right? That any little slight touch, yeah. So it might feel like that for some of you, like, I'm hearing like stage fright, right? Or when you go back to, like, if you kind of recall your teenage years where you thought the whole world, you got one little zit, one little thing wrong with you, and you thought in your mind that everywhere you went, every time someone looked at you, they were looking at that zit, that the whole world noticed it, and half the people that you encountered on that day didn't care, were too preoccupied, didn't even notice. But throw it again. But to you, you were so sensitive, hypersensitive to it as a teenager that you thought, oh, everyone sees it. So there's something about that. Then the third card that flipped up was the Empress. So now I'm hearing going back to the womb. Back to the womb again. Now I'm hearing that scripture in the Christian canon again, the Christian Bible, where the story where we are told that Nicodemus, one of the, I don't know, I don't know, I always get them confused, the Pharisees and Sadducees, but Nicodemus sounds like he would be a Pharisee. And the reason why I say that is an old joke. I think it was Joyce Myers. She's a televangelist. Like her or not, that's not for me to dictate, but I'm giving her credit to this. I believe it was her who said she would distinguish between them because the Sadducees were sad, you see, and the Pharisees were fair. You know what I'm saying? Where she got that from, I don't know. But Nicodemus was one of the leaders of the religious order of that time per the Christian canon. And he went to Jesus, Yeshua, Isa alayhi salam, in the middle of the night, right? To ask him, you're preaching that we should be reborn again. And he's saying, well, what do you mean? How can I, an adult, go back into my mother's womb again? He was seeing it literal, right? But there's something, now I'm hearing, where they talk epigenic? No, I'm getting that wrong. Please don't quote me. But look it up. It's where it is believed now by scientists, biologists, neurologists, that we are connected via DNA and in our gut and other ways up to 3 generations. So myself, I'm connected via my mother's womb, and her womb via my grandmother's womb. I'm messing this up. Spirit, help me. I know this and I don't know why it's not coming out clear. Something doesn't want me to. So basically, the gut health, as well as a lot of other biological and DNA, can be traced back up to 3 generations in your family. And there's something specific with, they also know that like the trauma experienced by your grandmother and your mother can be passed down up to 3 generations also via the womb. That's as clear as I can and concise as I can deliver it right now. I highly recommend, my Islamic side indicates, do the research, fact check, fact check, fact check. Don't just take my word for it. But so there's something there about the womb, about ancestral lineage, about maybe some of this trauma and some of the things that I discussed being passed down via the womb, right? Because Spirit also had me go into explaining that our parents are doing the best that they can, that they too have gone through their experiences, their trauma. Yeah, so since I went into that spiel, it was to lead up to this, to indicate that it's all interconnected, connected, right? To give someone, I just heard, a sigh or a sense of release, to understand that what you're dealing with, and I'm getting emotional, my throat, I feel like I want to cry when I'm saying this, but that you're not alone, and that you are really dealing with, trigger warning, issues and experiences that are so much bigger than you are, and that would require assistance, right? And that it wouldn't be a wrong thing or a bad thing for you to seek out that assistance, like therapy or psychiatric help. One of the things a caption I came across this morning was a severe ADHD in woman caused, like, and they showed a home which was in complete disarray and disorganization. And sometimes we can think, when we look at certain places and spaces, or certain things that are occurring or that we are experiencing or occurring in our life, we take it so personal, in the sense that we think, well, we must be a bad person, or we must be, again, trigger warning for using all these incorrect, false statements, but it's just to give the example. I'm dumb, I'm bad, I'm disorganized, I'm lazy, I'm dirty, I'm nasty, depending on the continuum in the spectrum. And I'm hearing the voices in the back of your head from the messages that were instilled in you as a child. That automatically go on auto replay, right? Depending on the trigger. That Thank you, Spirit, because I swear on everything, it just felt like everything went blank for a minute. And I'm hearing that is even a part of the process, right? That's what happened, that a lot of the times we repress, or our bodies responds to assist us to deal, right? Not just deal, because deal sounds like too harsh, to cope with the experience or the trauma, is like it would repress it to where you forget it, like what just happened. Or you would use those statements, those negative false statements that I just used, when there are bigger underlying issues like ADHD or anxiety, depression, bipolar, like whatever, right? I'm even hearing, trigger warning, my throat, schizophrenia for some. But the good news is that there's help for these things, right? Not perfect help. I get it. I'm hearing someone say, no, but they are manageable, and people can live, I'm hearing, healthy, productive lives. The key is acknowledging and knowing, so that you can know how to, because you got to get to the root of the issue. You can't know how to address something unless you are able to get to the root. The other thing that just quickly came to mind when I was saying that about acknowledging, I'm thinking about that true story about this like professor, this scientist. He won like the Nobel Peace Prize, but he was like schizophrenic or something. He would hear voices And his wife and family finally, I forget, it's a really good movie. If you look it up, it's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. It was based on a true story. He literally suffered from like a major mental health, major in the sense of the DHS, oh God, the manual, the what codifies it. um, and he would hear voices, but he learned how to manage them. He learned how to live with them. Right? There's something now I'm hearing about Carl Jung's psychology, Jungian psychology, where he suggests the integration of the shadow as opposed to the repression of it or the outcasting of it, right? To learn how to fully accept oneself, right? From the womb, right? Flaws and all, right? And knowing that I'm imperfectly perfect, right? That is a part of this beauty, this, right? We mentioned this duality, the sun, the moon, right? That I was picking up on. So yeah, that's a lot. But I'm also hearing, in addition to, it's not but, in addition to all of that, the Empress represents creativity, fertility, new growth, abundance, right? And now I'm hearing the beautiful thing about it, about you acknowledging this and you being aware of all of this, is that because you are able to be aware of it and address it, you're now then rectifying this, healing this for your lineage, for your family, for your future generations to come, right? Whether they come from your loins or not, I heard. Interesting. I don't use loins as a basic, everyday grammar word, right? But yes, so I guess I'm hearing that to hear, like, if even if you're not a parent right now, or won't ever be. Some people don't want to be parents, but now I'm hearing for those who who fear being parents because of the trauma and the maybe mental health and other things. No, it won't be the same, because of you, things can and will get better. And one thing I heard this morning, one of the things, and like really learning to forgive my parents and to really understand their story and their issues and their trauma. One of the things I heard, I think it was this morning, I apologize. I listen to so many things sometimes I kind of, nevertheless, what the young lady was saying, or the message, it was a story or something, that your mother, and it was for me at the time, that my mother began, the change in this lineage to address some of the toxicity and abuse and mental health and everything. And 20 years ago, you couldn't convince me of that. It was like, whatever, right? But now, looking back and reflecting and seeing, she really did, because although she couldn't fully heal it and escape it and address it within herself, she provided and became, I don't want to cry again. I'm so sorry. But she became the conduit for me, And I'm hearing that's how Nicodemus, that's how you're reborn again, right? Interesting. Or one of the ways, right? That's the rebirth, like in me, her daughter, right? She provided me with opportunities, resources, avenues that blew my mind, that took me on whole other directions, because she provided those opportunities for me. She didn't benefit from them directly. She didn't experience them directly, but she had enough love for me, enough courage and gusto, right, to push through for me, to give me the opportunities that she could have only dreamed of in her childhood and didn't have, you know. She was taken from her mother, trigger warning, at a very young age and didn't get to experience that. And with me, as hard as she tried, but she did try hard to be there for me in her own ways, right? And to, I'm gonna leave that alone because I don't want to make this about me. I do apologize, but I'm hearing that for many of you to understand that maybe those individuals, because not everyone is raised by their biological parents, right? Some have grandparents, aunts, uncles, adoption, but that these individuals, may not have been perfect in what they did. And again, it's not justifying anything. I just really want to clarify. Some of us have dealt with monsters. And although we can forgive them, we do need to keep boundaries. And that doesn't mean accept people back in your life. Forgiveness is for yourself, real talk. But the key takeaway I think Spirit wants is that there is hope for the lineage to come, that, that they begin the process, right, of seeing awakenings and healings and differences in future generations. And it started like that. I need another sip of coffee. This has been deep. We're about 46 minutes in. I've only pulled like 5 cards. And it's interesting, fierce feminine. There's something there. Again, not taken away from the masculine, but there's something about this fierce feminine energy. The word fierce meaning that it needed to be brave and courageous and push through in even the most of unbearable situations, right? And now I'm thinking of labor pains, which I am familiar with, right? Anything. Wow. 9 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Just thought that is significant, right? Once again, very childlike. I remember, right? Like, what is one of the first ways you're taught? Well, most of us are taught in school how to count and, how to add and things with those little figures. And then you cross it out. That would be 5. Oh my God, like, this is really interesting. I don't know. I use words like interesting, but I'm going to be very honest with you. I am one of those people, and call it that childhood naivety or whatever you want, but that truly believes that it is not interesting, that it is not coincidence, that there is this oneness, this beautiful consciousness, collective consciousness, this divinity. This, may the force be with you. I don't know why I wanted to do the Klingon thing too. Interesting, but my ancestors, these angels, this divinity, the fairies, the gnomes, the spirit guides, the animal guides, like this whole, the trees, herbs, everything, like this collective consciousness that loves me so much, you so much, cares so much about our survival. I'm hearing past survival though, but about us thriving, right? Homogeneous, right? I don't know, now I'm thinking of equilibrium, homeostasis. The species, number one, thing is to, regenerate itself. Like, but it's so concerned with that that it goes to lengths like cards. Whatever will get our attention, right? And I find that to be so beautiful. And I am so grateful that although it may look crazy to somebody else, that I am able to tap in this way. And that's the way it works for me. It may work for somebody else another way, right? But, different folks, different strokes for different folks, right? Like, whatever. And I'm not saying it's just with the cards. You know, I can hear this divinity in movies and songs and peoples and bulletin boards and license plates and you know, birds, trees, like whatever. Like just the fact of this awareness and this ability to just see it that way. I am grateful. It may be the Lulu for most. Hey, and if it, I don't know, you know, this is what works for me, and this is what has continued to get me through, keep me going, keep me inspired, keep me fighting for myself and my family and my children, right? And my future generations. I have grandbabies now, you know. Now I'm hearing your great grandmother Eunice or Lois. I don't know. Is this scripture? I think Paul is speaking to Timothy. Is it in Ephesians or maybe Corinthians? Is it Thessalonians? I don't know why I went there just now. I see my face. Thessalonians. But where, oh, maybe it's First and Second Timothy, where he's actually, you know, saying, you know, that he's acknowledging his great grandmother and saying, I know, you know, the stock you come from, interestingly enough, right? And to think that, you know, one of my, I don't know, I keep going back to me. I'm sorry. Listen, this is just what coming out. But one of my requests from God, my prayers from God, Goddess, has been always that one day, you know, from, you know, this spirit world, after I'm long gone and passed away, I am privy to a conversation from maybe my great-great-grandchild, where I hear them say, it was my great-great-grandmother Marilyn who started this trajectory for us. Like, that is one of my prayers, right? I want to be and live the type of life where after I'm gone from this earth, you know, my great grandson or granddaughter or my child or whoever may be in need of something or whatever, and they are receive a call or can go to someone and they say, oh no, I am more than willing to help you because your grandmother or your mother Marilyn was significant like this in my life and was helpful to me in my life like that. And it's not about transactional that way, but I want to live such a life that I do leave such a presence, such a stamp, such a signature, a positive one in people's lives, that their gratitude surpasses me and my death unto my children and my children's children. I do. That's just the way I want to live, right? That's the kind of legacy I want to leave behind. So, yeah, Nine of Wands, right? We usually understand this to be, you know, I've conquered. I've been through some battles. I've gotten some scars, you know. But dear God, you know, I'm hearing that scene from The Color Purple, which is like, you know, my favorite of all time movies. But where Celie finally escapes Mr., you know, has the courage to, oh God, I'm getting emotional again, but to walk away from him finally and to stand up to him at the table and speak her piece, right? After so many years of telling Nettie, her sister, and so many other people, I'm so afraid of him. I'm so scared. I don't know how to fight. I just know how to survive, right? And her finally, you know, standing up and for herself. And you know, she's getting in the back of the she's gotten in the back of the car, and Suge and them are riding away, and he says to her, you'll be back, you're black, you're ugly, and nobody's gonna, you know, whatever. And she yells back, I may be black, I may be ugly, but dear, and I may even be, she says, I'm black, I'm poor, and I may even be ugly, but dear God, I am here, right? Where she recognizes, where she has this epiphany that yeah, that she is here, right? That there is still so much more for her life to experience and to have, right? um, that although she's battle, ridden and worn, she's overcome them, right? She didn't die. They didn't kill her. They didn't destroy her. Yeah, they bruised her. They effed her up in certain ways, but it didn't kill her. It didn't take her out. And here she has yet now another opportunity, another chance at life, right? And going back now, Spirit is telling me go back. That's what this new chapter is like, regaining that again. The latter shall be greater than your former. I shall return unto you with the cankerworm and the lotus have stolen, right? I'm hearing it's another quote again. Joyce Myers has a whole lecture on it, but beauty out of ashes, right? Yeah, it's just like interesting. I don't know. There might be some Joyce Meyer fans listening to this, because I mean, this is the second time I reference her. They're saying lay that 9 of Wands down is significant, right? So be proud of yourself. I'm hearing you've overcome so much, and I'm hearing think of it as, I don't know, I just heard badges of honor, but in a good way where, yeah, like a soldier, right? When a soldier comes back from the war, which, that's another story, but from that battle, he becomes a decorated soldier, or she becomes, right, based on, maybe they help save lives during that, whatever. But it's almost like I'm hearing you're like this decorated warrior, right? Who has come so far, has accomplished so much, but not for yourself, but for your family and your lineage. And one of the other things that's been keen these last couple of days, Spirit has been really big on sharing with me, is this sense of, how can I say it? This sense of, in the midst of all of this, right? Let's look at her. One of the beautiful things, I don't know if you can see her face. She's in front of these thorns. The thorn is actually through her. Interesting. Look at this. The flower, right? And I don't know, maybe those aces are also referring to, those first times when you tried to share your creativity, like the Ace of the Cups with the first time you tried to give this love out, right? But and how, that creativity and that flower that you tried to give to the world, look, was pierced, right? Now I'm hearing the side of Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, was pierced, right? And the piercings in his hands. Interesting. But if you look at her face, she doesn't seem angry. She doesn't seem bitter. She doesn't seem, it's almost like she's calm through it all. And that's, that's like one of the most beautiful gifts I can also acknowledge I've received from Spirit. This spice. Yeah, I'm spicy. Interesting. Where is that coming from? Ice Spice now. That's the rapper, right? But then I heard of Spicy, whatever. Wasn't that a group? The girl with the curly hair. Didn't she have a baby by Eddie Murphy? Interesting. Throw it again. But the fact that I had to regroup. My ancestors are funny. I had to regroup. The fact that in the midst of it all, you've remained all of this. Through all of this, you remained like beautiful inside and out and that's another thing I'm hearing. Like, you got that Benjamin button, like you don't look like what you've been through, and that's another blessing that you have to, or if you don't believe in blessings, but that's another a beautiful advantage that, like, don't, I'm hearing, don't overlook, don't take for granted. So many people, when they've gone through war, look like they've gone through war. And look at this. She looks just, she's snatched up, look just as young and as beautiful as she want to be, right? And peaceful and calm and still kind and gentle and loving. And I'm not saying that there's perfection there and that, you know, you have on this, you know, this attitude all day, every day. But for the most part, a lot of people, after going through such traumatic experiences, it can make them pretty bitter, pretty angry, you know, and you didn't, right? That's a great feat in and of itself, I'm hearing. Okay, we're about an hour in. Any last messages from Spirit that you want us to walk away with? Please and thank you. Thank you so much for this. I hope this message brings you hope. I can't make this up. Look what flew out. Legacy. Now I'm hearing that song by Beyonce. Legacy. Go listen to, that song makes me cry. You know, especially the part where she talks about, you know, you're more than what they wrote of you, you know, pick up the pen and, oh God, I forget those lyrics, but they are so beautiful, so empowering. It's about legacy. Now, thank you, Spirit. This home was forged, right? Look, from this tree, right? It is, it's going back. It's going back to your ancestor. Like, I can't make this up. Right? Look, there goes, you know, I'm hearing again another child. Again, it was in my childhood that I remember that fact, being told that fact. You want to know how old the tree is? Count the rings, you know, in its stump. Again, very much attached to your childhood, very much attached to lineage, right? And the fact that this hat, which is a home to these two lovebirds, and then again the moon, right? And then the fact that it's the moon and it's night, right? Usually at night things aren't clear, there's confusion, there's illusion, there's maybe even possibility for distortion. I'm hearing now Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf going through the woods in the middle of the night, Hansel and Gretel. I don't know, now I'm hearing all kinds of crazy, I don't know, I want to say crap, I don't know why I just said that, but these childlike stories, but right, this home by these two lovebirds was built off of this legacy, right, this lineage, right? Interesting. And now I just heard, and we can't do anything about the past, right? It's done. It has come and gone. Obviously, that's why we're calling it the past, right? But we are responsible, I'm hearing, for our future, right? The future generations to come, right? What we choose to do with now, the knowledge, the intelligence, the wisdom, the understanding, the information, with our bodies, our minds. Yeah, I'm hearing our intellect. Like, we are now responsible, right, for the future generations. And although, you know, not one person has, kind of like my mom couldn't correct the whole thing, right, for me and shield me from everything and prevent everything for me, but she definitely took her place to the best of her ability to be the conduit that she needed to be, to provide me the access and the resources and the knowledge and the opportunities that then propelled me into minds, which then I was able to give my children a very, very different reality than the one I experienced. Not a perfect one, I am first to admit that, but they definitely did not go through 90% of the ish I had to endure as a child, you know what I mean? Particularly as a preteen and teen. They did not. They did not. And they were afforded opportunities and resources and places and spaces that I could have only dreamed of at their age. But I was able to do it off of the shoulders off my mom. And now I'm thinking, that old meme we was getting when ex-President Barack Obama was elected, where he said Martin walked. So Barack can stand. I don't know. I know that meme like the back of my hand now all of a sudden. So Martin walked so Barack can run. I think, but again, about how, it's a continuum, how we standing on the shoulders. Now I'm hearing like, listen, bottom line, give homage to your ancestors, venerate them, man. There's a difference between worshiping them and venerating them, man. Like, don't be ignorant. I don't know who that's for, but there's plenty of cultures who have that understanding and have no issue doing that. In the Asian culture, they do it via tea ceremonies and all kinds. I mean, watch Mulan, watch, those Disney movies. They're showing it to you right there and then. In the Jewish culture and ethnicity, they're consistently venerating their ancestors. It is only us that are being told that this is evil, that this is witchcraft, that this is like, open your eyes, man. You are literally standing on the shoulders of them. Like, yes. And it's their prayers, their sacrifices, their decisions. And yes, I get it. Not always great ones, but the ones that they did the best that they could, and it afforded you a very different future and opportunity from the ones they had. And I get it. Not all of them are to be venerated. There's some ancestors who I do not light a candle to or give water to. Nor there's some individuals still alive that when they pass away that are part of my family that I am clear did not love me, had no goodwill towards me, that I will not. So I'm not saying, I forgive them, but I ain't going to sit there and put them on my altar either, But there is something about ancestral veneration and acknowledging them, again, even in the Mexican tradition. I mean, look at the movie Coco. And I'm using, again, it's very much keeping it to a generic childlike understanding. It's like spirit intentionally doesn't want me to go above, right? Now I'm thinking of the Daily News, which is our newspaper here in Philadelphia, where they indicate, it's written at a 5th grade reading level, because it acknowledges, as much as we want to think that we're like the brightest and the bestest. Yeah, see, I'm even using the word bestest right now. I heard Rugrats, right? That's a kid's show from my daughter's era, but even that, right? That there's this sense of keeping it at a childlike level for you to understand, right? I'm not trying to insult anyone's intelligence. I just heard, excuse them, why? Right? Because somebody's ego just got, but baby, I ain't got nothing to do with that, mama. But it's like I'm keeping it simple, right? Like as simple as I can, Spirit is saying, right? So if you even just go back and watch something like, Mulan, The Prince of Egypt, and Coco, and most recently from, what was that, Brazil or Colombia? So sorry, I think it's Colombia. Casita. Oh God. Maribela, Casita. We don't talk about Bruno, no. Right? My dog wants to make an appearance now. Come here. You want to say hi to me? Here. Oh, God. He just wants to be rubbed. He wants your belly rubbed, right? You want your belly rubbed. He said, Mommy on the phone talking, and she hasn't been able to pay attention to me all this time. I'm so sorry, baby. But see, even this puppy, look, he's turning over. All he wants is a belly rub. Everything wants to be loved and acknowledged, in its most purest essence, childlike wonder. But yeah, even if you were to go back to those movies, those kid movies, they would definitely be significant evidence of cultures around the world that venerate their ancestors and are praised for it. So much so they make Disney movies out of it. Yet when it comes to other races and cultures, it is demonized. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. I feel like on my Forrest Gump voice. So yeah, I am being told for you to, yeah, some of you who feel led to, yeah, give that glass of water, light that candle. You know what I mean? Acknowledge your ancestors and what they have done, right? Keep their essence, their spirit alive, right? And I think that is that. I don't think I'm feeling compelled. And my dog's antsiness, I think, is definite proof that this, that's all, folks, right? That's Porky Pig from Bugs Bunny. I'm telling my own age now. Like, yeah, very childlike, right? But it's interesting. I just wanted to look at the bottom of the deck, and we're right back to this little girl, this Ace of Pentacles, right? Here she is standing with her little watering can and her little flower. And oh, she's holding this flower still so that this dragonfly can replenish itself, I'm hearing. Yeah, I don't know. Believing in fairies, aces and new beginnings, pentacles, right? Very 3D, very... I'm hearing leave it all alone. I'm hearing just show the picture. I just heard use your imagination. Yes. Throat wanted to close up, yes. So it's like I'm hearing like a last minute tutorial or class like that you would get in school, where maybe the teacher would put up a picture or a specific phrase on the board and say, now I'm hearing like a journaling prompt, based on this picture, write what you feel. What does it bring up in you, right? What does it convey? What feelings, emotions, memories arise for you from this picture? So now I'm hearing for some of you, I hope I'm holding it right, the camera is getting it correctly, screenshot it, right? And use it as a journaling prompt. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any oracle cards as a final message of advice that we may find useful. Yep. I'll grab from here, and then we'll close out this very beautiful Labor Day holiday. #NoLabor message from Spirit and my beautiful ancestors. I want to give them all the thanks. I want to give all the thanks and praises to Spirit, to this oneness, to this consciousness, to this divinity that loves and cares so deeply about the progression and restoration of my life and my lineage now and for years to come. And obviously for yours, because this message could have been just for me, but I was instructed to record it and put it out here in YouTube land so that someone else may benefit from it. Last card, BK. Oh, that was look at that. I'm gonna hold it up again. Rediscovery. That's what it's about. That's what this whole message was telling us. You want to discover the card, huh? Rediscovery, right? And it's a little girl. And again, I know it's been using a lot of feminine imagery, but this is very much non-gender, right? Feminine and masculine energies are held within, well, are both held within us, right? But this is the energy that wanted to speak forth today, and it was being implored to resurrect itself, to arise. I'm hearing, right? And I'm feeling led. No, I was gonna say to read from the book, but they're saying no. That's it. Rediscovery, right? It's very self-explanatory. It's time to rediscover who you are. And on that note, yes, I have to. He's in the middle of the camera. He's saying enough. Quit. It's my time now. I hope this message helps those who, and I say that, but I know that it will. You know, I'm hearing my words should never return back void, right? Nothing is by coincidence, and yeah, I'm grateful to be that conduit, and I look forward to the next opportunity to share with all of you. Beloved, on that note, Amen, Ashe, and Amen. Until next time. BK.